Have you ever seen something from the corner of your eye that wasn't there when you looked again? How about hearing from a friend of a friend that while they were hiking somewhere, they thought they saw something impossible? Or when they spoke to a ranger, there was always a simple explanation that left you unsatisfied. My name is Chris, and this is my colleague Jack, and we're senior wardens for the Creature Conservation Initiative. We protect the world from the creatures of superstition and myth, but more importantly, protect those same creatures from the world. Hello, welcome everyone. We're coming to you live from the Blink and Your Mythid studio. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to my co-host Jack. Jack, how are you doing today?
You didn't tell me these were live.
Well, I mean, they're live recordings, kind of, and then edited.
Oh, that's fine. All those admissions of guilt are not in the show. Great, wonderful.
No, of course not.
Nobody knows my crimes.
All our war crimes stay secret.
Exactly. Not going to The Hague. We're all good. Carry on.
Not yet.
Yes, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, knowing that I'm not going to The Hague, I'm doing fantastic.
Wonderful. But we'll see how this episode goes, so never say never.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna go well.
It could be that bad, it's classed as a war crime.
You know, I almost did an episode that was very iffy, but yeah, I decided that I don't want to go to jail, so instead we're going to Korea today.
That's definitely two different areas, jail, Korea.
Yes. And you'll be happy to hear that I also avoided Korean jail.
Oh god, I can't wait to hear the story about this one.
Well, there's actually no jail involved. That was some very stupid foreshadowing because there's nothing to foreshadow in that direction, but...
Okay, lost a lot of interest, but carry on.
Yeah. Well, maybe I can regain your interest because this is one that the furries are probably gonna have another field day with.
Wow, okay. We're going there again.
Yes, we are. Because we are talking about the Kumiho, which, again, pronunciations, as always, are probably horrendous. I apologize.
Yep, don't at us.
Or do. We need the interaction.
We need the engagement.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a fox spirit. The name literally translates to nine-tailed fox, which is, you know, it is exactly what it says on the tin.
Yep, and I can definitely see the furry connection.
Yeah, and it's, at first glance, it's similar to other creatures in the Asian area, like the Japanese kitsune, or there's a similar one in China that's called the Jiuweiyu, or similar.
Not come across that myself, but
yeah,
it stands to reason. There tends to be, you know, in certain regions, in certain areas, there tends to be some overlap in the creatures that they'll see and their folklore.
Yeah, exactly. And also, as you see with regular quote-unquote animals, there are also different subspecies where creatures start to specialize in their environment and their specific niches, or just plain out become weird, like the platypus. And you know, things happen.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's always changes, environmental, evolution, etc. Evolution is real. Do not fight me on this. You will lose.
It's true. You will lose.
My arguments will evolve over time.
That's not even my final form.
Carry on.
The earliest mention of this comes from the Shanhai Jing, which is a Chinese classic text, which is in English called Classic of Mountains and Seas, and in there it's located in a country then called Jingqiu, something like that, 300 miles to the east.
Is it a country, not a county? Sorry.
It's a country or region. It's a bit vague.
Okay.
And also not a country that exists today, but one that was referred to in this ancient text.
Okay, yeah.
And the name apparently translates to Green Hills, so we could say that this weird fox guy comes from the Green Hill Zone.
Oh my god, you are just baiting the furries now.
I am.
We're going into Sonic. Places.
Gotta get the engagement somehow.
Okay, carry on.
Anyway, this country was generally like just some kind of region to the east, kind of vaguely defined as far as I understand it. It was later over the course of history used to refer to Korea, or what we know today as Korea.
Okay.
And
okay, so region evolves over time. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's two main things you have to know about the Kumiho, and that is one, there's the stereotype of a fox being, wise and very clever and all that stuff, and that's very true in this case. They are quite smart, quite clever, very intelligent creatures, and they are shapeshifters, our favorite type of creature.
God damn it, another shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Is this at least a positive shapeshifter? Is it going to be one where I'm having to look around and work out what's going to eat my face off from every angle?
Well, that really depends from case to case. Look over your shoulder just to be safe.
Okay.
So, going back to the furries, you'll be delighted to hear that when it transforms, there's usually some kind of fox feature that remains, like they retain fox ears, or sometimes a fox looking kind of face, or they keep their tails, stuff like that.
So just so I can get my head around this right, it generally keeps fox-like features, but it turns into what?
Oh yeah, I should have. It turns into humans. I thought I'd mentioned that, but apparently I didn't.
Oh, you might have, but I just wanted to. There's so much going on here. We're talking furries, foxes, absolute.
Sonic.
So many different directions we're coming at this from. Yeah. I just needed to get. I need to get my head around this.
That's fair. Yeah, so they turn into humans, but they usually retain some kind of fox-looking feature. Although the older they get, the better they become at this, until at a certain point they are virtually indistinguishable from humans.
Okay, so I like this. It's you kind of get a with age comes wisdom kind of vibe.
Yes, kind of. They are said to have extreme longevity, and that's very true. They can easily grow over 1,000 years old. We have not actually seen one die of just old age or anything like that.
As in, we haven't observed one.
We haven't observed one, and we are pretty sure at this point that they are pretty much immortal in that aspect. They can die from other causes, but I think they don't have a set lifespan like we have or other animals have.
Okay, so it is as far as we're concerned, functionally, in terms of age, immortal?
Yes.
Okay.
So very much a situation that's not invincible, but immortal, in the sense that it doesn't just wither away at some point.
Ageless, but still vulnerable to being hurt.
Yeah, as long as it gets enough nutrition and everything.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit special, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Cool. I'm fascinated by this now. Still trying to ignore the furry aspect, but
oh well. The next point might give you problems with that, because
they play into it, don't they?
The main reason they turn into humans, you can probably imagine, is a way to seduce people.
Reproduction.
Well, not really, because they seduce people.
Oh, it's not even for reproduction. Okay, great.
And then proceed to eat their organs.
Oh,
That's the long and short of it. So they seduce people, take them away to a secluded location, and then they are very fond of livers and hearts. They don't usually eat the meat. They are more focused on the entrails.
Yeah.
And that's their usual hunting method. It's just this kind of seduction, deception, and then when they're alone, they're quite strong, and they're foxes, so they have pretty nasty teeth and all of that kind of stuff. So
is there like a cosmic reason for this, or is it just dinner?
It's just dinner.
Excellent. Cool.
I mean, there's a lot in the mythology about that, but in reality, it's just dinner.
Excellent.
Yeah. So in the classic mythology, they of course turn into beautiful women to seduce men, but in reality, it's not always just women seducing men, it's also the other way around, or basically they just transform into whatever kind of person their victim
What they
might
need.
find attractive. Yeah,
Whatever bait they think
And-
is appropriate, shall we say.
exactly. And often that does entail keeping fox features, you know?
Oh my god.
Especially in modern times.
We're actually having to... There's actually a part of the CCI that is dedicated to the protection of the furries, isn't there?
Yep, very much.
Sometimes I wonder, do we really need to protect humanity?
Well, maybe it's time to just wipe the table clean, you know?
Of course I'm joking. Like, it's fine. Do whatever you'd like to. Live your life how you would like to. It's absolutely fine by us. It's just sometimes, we go for the low-hanging fruit when it comes to the comedy. Carry on then.
What low-hanging fruit? Us? I'd never. Anyway, so in the stories, what you often hear is that they want to become human, and
Okay.
I'm not sure why they would so desperately want to do that.
Oh god, no, neither am I. But it's a hellhole. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah, they can achieve that goal by either consuming 1,000 souls, because according to the law, they do not only consume organs and stuff like that, but also the souls of people. Or
Wonderful.
alternatively, they can abstain from eating humans for 1,000 years and somehow, good ending versus bad ending, that kind of thing, reach their goal that way. Or depending who you ask, it's 1,000 days or 1,000 months, and very much gives you a perspective of whoever wrote this, what they think is an acceptable level of commitment. 1,000 days versus 1,000 years is a large difference.
So essentially, it sounds a little bit like you either build a human soul or you grow one over time or something. It sounds like that kind of idea, and it's the myth. So I'm guessing it's all about the virtue and
of course,
which side you want to be on, and obviously we're talking kind of Asia, that kind of society. So I'm guessing it's a bit of a warning tale as well. If you're not good, you'll attract one of these or something, or is it literally just it's all on them? It's all on who they happen to come across and their morals.
I think it's pretty much on them. There doesn't seem to be any warning here, except maybe in a kind of sexual way. There's this whole seduction angle, so maybe it's
okay. Be a bit more careful about choosing your partners, otherwise you could end up dinner for a fox.
Yeah. So that's the only kind of moral that is obvious about that. There's probably more if you dig more into the stories, but...
So as far as the myth is concerned, it's immoral to be a furry. Cool, got it.
Well, I'm not gonna say anything about that.
Again, low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. So when we compare this again to similar creatures in the Asian region, those are often depicted in different ways, but very clearly there are good depictions and evil depictions, neutral depictions, basically the entire spectrum.
Yeah.
But what stands out about the Kumiho is that it's usually depicted as always very neutral at best and very self-centered. So there's very rarely the good and nice one or the clearly evil one. It's all about them. They're very self-centered. That's how they tend to be depicted in the stories, and I'm not sure why that is, especially compared to the other ones.
That'd be interesting to just look into one day, a little bit further, just try and work out. Because again, obviously we're talking about the myth behind this creature. We're not talking about the actual creature unless you tell me something about them being self-centered. But it's always interesting because a lot of the time myths and folklore is really, really all about a warning or an allegory or just something to inform a viewpoint or religion or something. That's where these kind of creatures, and they just happen to come across one of these creatures and they make a story around it and it just grows and grows, etc.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on this. I really, really can't see where the story is here.
Yeah, I'm not sure, especially if you look further back, they were kind of shown as more kind creatures and helpful creatures, and then kind of morphed into this very dangerous and selfish creature over the centuries. And I can't really make out why this change happened. I mean, I can very much see why they would be described as dangerous and selfish, because they are quite dangerous and they're gonna eat you for dinner. But other than that,
I mean, obviously in the real life, it's a case of your dinner. That's it. It's not self-centered. It's your dinner. So I can see why the myth would turn around and suddenly go, well, it's self-centered, it's out to hurt people. Because, But again, it's just that whole thing of, like, I would expect it to be some kind of messenger or some kind of allegory for something, but no, it seems like we've just got some interesting stories about a creature that they class as myth and we know is real.
Yeah. And in the more ancient tales about it, there's also stories about them falling in love with humans and becoming human that way, that kind of thing. And it just kind of morphed away from that. And it's kind of weird because all those things do still kind of happen here and there, and I can't really make out what real world change has affected that change in a way that they are talked about.
Well,
but getting on with it, one thing that sets them apart from their relatives is a thing they have that's called that's probably not called the Yiwu Gusol, which literally translates to fox marble. And that is part of their diet or their nutrition, actually. And it's a little kind of, basically a marble. And the way they use it is that they kind of implant it, so to say, into a victim, and they do that in an act that very much looks like kissing. They kind of just bath that marble into the mouth of a person.
What a way to describe it. This is slightly funnier because the first thing that came to my mind is when you said fox marble. That's a really, really, really kind of like euphemistic way to talk about, fox poop. What's that? Oh, it's just a fox marble. It's all good. And then basically barf kissing into the mouth.
Well,
all right.
It might as well be fox poop because you're gonna feel like shit.
Oh, God.
No, but
that's gonna be a bleep.
So, this whole kiss bath happens, and then this marble kind of settles into the abdomen of the person. And there, in the stories, it sits there and collects life essence, which, is kind of vague and iffy and mystical. In reality, it just
connects up to their getting 1,000 souls, etc. Yeah,
exactly. But it does actually exist, and we have seen that it kind of collects all kinds of nutrients and minerals from the body.
Oh, that's both terrifying and pretty cool.
Yes, very much so. It's even more terrifying when you see that if it stays inside the body for longer than a year, then the person dies, because at a certain point they're just basically drained dry.
So it's a full-on like parasitic thing inside the body.
Very much. And in the stories, it is said to just drain the life essence, and if the life essence is gone. But in reality, it's not quite as sudden. It just over time, people start to develop kind of diffuse symptoms depending on what kind of nutrients specifically are collected and which, they then lack. And over time, they just get worse and worse. And if it stays in there too long, they actually die from whatever gets them first.
Yeah.
And what happens is that after a while, the Kumiho will return and will retrieve that marble.
Yeah.
Now, you may remember from 18 seconds ago that the marble is in the abdomen of the person, and
Yes.
it is very much possible to surgically remove it without any lasting harm and all of that, but a Kumiho is usually not that careful about it.
Are you telling me that they haven't gone to medical school to train as surgeons?
Well, some of them have, but yeah. What usually happens is they just go the direct route and retrieve the marble and also have a little snack of a liver or heart or whatever they are hankering for.
Yeah,
So
sounds about right.
Yeah, it's usually bad news for the person involved.
I mean, that's putting it mildly, but yeah.
Yeah. The interesting part is that the Kumiho retrieves this marble and then kind of absorbs it back into their own body, where then, in a similar way that it accumulated all these nutrients and stuff over time, it kind of deposits them again also over time. So that's kind of their long-term food storage in a way that keeps them going, especially as they get older. When they're quite young, just eating a liver and a heart here and there is enough to keep them going, but that normal food kind of isn't quite enough to keep them going once they reach a certain age of a few hundred years, and that's where this marble comes in, because that's the thing that really gives them this agelessness, I suppose.
Okay.
You could say.
Okay, so as they get older, they need more energy, as the stories would say, but essentially they just, biologically, they need more nutrients, they need more calories. Yeah,
calories, and also it's kind of a refreshment, so to say. You know, the older an organism gets, the more likely they are to kind of develop various kinds of cancer and whatnot because of genetic failure and
at its basic, a copy of each cell is a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, and slowly copies degrade. Yeah,
exactly. And this,
so they are actually vulnerable to that as well.
They are vulnerable to that, but this is basically their way to combat this, because they usually deposit this into younger people, and it kind of, I'm not a biologist, but it kind of refreshes their DNA, RNA, whatever it is that is responsible for the replication. Kind of refreshes that, so to say. I think there's stem cells involved in some way.
Yeah.
Gotta ask the science guys about that. But
well, like I say, some of the creatures we deal with, they're just fascinating. And the science that we pick up from them, the research that we pick up and everything, it'd be amazing what could happen. But obviously, we just can't let people know about half of this stuff.
Very true. Very true.
No.
An interesting side effect, if the victim survives removal of that marble, is that they lose memories as well. So it ranges from anywhere to losing a few memories of the time to complete amnesia or anything in between. It's very often it is losing memories about the marble and where they got it and the Kumiho that gave it to them. So it seems to be kind of targeted. It just sometimes gets a bit overzealous, probably doesn't work as intended and gives them too much or too little memory loss, but it seems to be a purposeful thing.
Okay, yeah, sounds like it's some kind of connection between the marble and maybe traumatic response, but
yeah, probably. There are not very many of these creatures, so they live very long lives, and probably partly due to that, they don't have big families or large amount of offspring.
You don't need many if you're going to last for a long period of time. That's kind of that's how some things.
Exactly, and they are also very, very clever, very good hunters, and all of that. So they've kind of kept their numbers small. They survive, and they're also very intelligent, and That's why we have been able to just kind of deal with them on a kind of diplomatic level, so to say.
Okay.
We just talk to them and convince them to not eat humans because we don't like that. Which, is sometimes
Easier said than
it,
done.
it varies from individual to individual because to them we are basically like flies that live for a day, and they are the immortal super beings. So some of them don't really respect our lives that much.
Yeah, I mean,
But
some of us don't respect our lives very much.
that's
But
true.
So essentially, when you say we deal with them on a kind of like diplomatic kind of level, are we talking like there's a council of them in a way? I mean, I'm not thinking I've got a council. Or is it literally individually?
It's individually, really. There's every now and then
Okay.
you get a little like commune of them, but even then,
Yeah.
they're probably not gonna be in the double digits. It's gonna be a few of them that live together for whatever reasons, but there's really very few of them, and we know most of them personally, at least the ones that kind of show themselves. So we can't really be sure of the real numbers because they are shapeshifters and they are very stealthy. So there's
True,
probably
yeah.
a certain amount of them that we do not know about because they're just very good at hiding
They
away.
just exist somewhere,
Yeah.
and they've not actually revealed themselves in some way.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like that. I mean,
yeah.
For all we know, there's actually thousands, millions of them, but we've just
Mm.
hidden. Obviously, I highly doubt that because we would probably have the evidence for it. But
exactly
you get what I'm trying to say.
That would probably result in a lot more dead people, but yeah, there could be more of them than we know. One deal that we tend to strike with them because, as I said, they need, after a certain age, they need this whole marble process. So what we have done with some of these individuals is that we kind of have volunteers that carry these marbles for a while, for a couple months or something, and then they get removed in a non-killing way, and we give them back, and that way they need to replace them often, but it keeps them alive, and it keeps us alive, and everyone's happy.
Okay, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope we pay these guys and girls quite well. But
oh yeah, we absolutely do. I mean, I'm not sure about super well. Our budget is limited, but they do get paid.
Fair enough.
Also, when we have to recruit a furry for that, they are usually quite excited about the prospect of
my God,
kissing a fox lady.
Oh, literally. This is so ethically dodgy.
Oh yes, very much so. But no harm, no foul.
Oh, you know what they say, as far as research concerned, informed consent is the cornerstone of all research and science.
Exactly. Everything's fine. Don't think about it too hard.
Yeah. Anyway, so how have you dealt with them, though?
Yes.
I'm really hoping you weren't a test subject.
I wasn't actually. I'd be open to it, but that's another thing.
Oh my God.
Well,
on this show, sometimes you learn a lot about your colleagues.
Oh, come on. Don't act surprised. I'm a desperate man, you know that.
Should have known this from the mermaids. Yeah, carry on.
Anyway, there once upon a time was a man that was feeling very unwell, and you know how it is. Sometimes you have diffuse symptoms and you go from doctor to doctor and it takes a while and nothing really gets figured out. Until this man happened to go to a doctor who happened to be an insider, quote unquote, so someone who's in contact with us, and who then recognized what was going on. And you can probably guess this guy had one of these marbles inside of him that was making him ill, and it had been there a while at that point. The doctor could tell. And the doctor alerted us because, this is probably not the consensual kind of marble retrieval that was bound to happen, and we're gonna have to deal with this somehow. So I was sent over there with a team, with a couple of people.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was obvious that the Kumiho would be returning soon to retrieve that marble, because, as I said, it's been there a while. And they do tend to retrieve it while the person is still alive, because they're not scavengers. They like to, eat fresh prey.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so the thing was that when we had the marble removed, in a quite secret kind of way, as to not alarm the Kumiho, because we didn't want it to know that we know.
Yeah.
The problem was that the guy basically forgot about the entire situation. So after the surgery, he was cooperative, but he wasn't very helpful, because he basically didn't really know anything about it anymore. He didn't know who it was, when it happened, all that kind of stuff. And
that's certainly a wrinkle. Yeah.
yeah, but with shapeshifters, a description doesn't really get you very far anyway. So what we had to do was basically lived in the same town for a while, and kind of shadowed this person, and he was basically our bait, because if we make too much of a fuss, as I said, these creatures are very intelligent, and they're gonna sniff out that something is wrong, and they're not gonna show up. So basically we just try to blend into the city and just hang around and kind of observe him until something suspicious happens. And it actually took a few weeks, and we were kind of working in shifts so we could have a 24-hour kind of observation, which was kind of creepy, but sometimes you do what you have to.
It's what we call surveillance.
Yeah,
it happens.
And it actually worked out, because at some point, when it happened to be my shift, he got a visit from a lady who had a suspicious kind of fox-looking ears.
Okay.
And they went to his place, and I discreetly followed, and he was just about to be ripped to shreds when I entered the apartment, and basically, just long story short, quick work, tasered her from behind so we could, restrain her, detain her, and get her off to the headquarters for the high-ups to deal with, set up relationship, that kind of stuff, and hopefully convince her to stop killing people.
I've just got one question.
Yes.
Now, we don't get to do it very often, but when we, take down these creatures, shall we say, take down or prevent loss of life, sometimes, especially if you're using things like a taser, you'll get the opportunity to say something really cool. Did you, by any chance, before you shot the taser, get her attention by asking, "What does the fox say?" If not, I am disappointed in you.
I'm very sorry. I'm very, very sorry I didn't. That would have been very good. But you'll be delighted to hear that the fox did say ring ding 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 as she hit the floor.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, amazing.
Yeah, but that was basically the entire story. We tied her up, and people dealt with that whole situation. That's not what I'm being paid for, so I did not interfere at all.
Oh, so it was the senior guys, the senior kind of like echelons of the CCI, they actually handle these, do they?
Yeah,
they do the negotiations, they say.
Not especially, but we have guys who kind of do the diplomatic kind of relationships.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of
the time. But they do push it up to the higher level.
Yeah, because
it's not just...
because we need this whole setup of volunteers to harbor these marbles and all of that kind of stuff. So it's
So they don't leave it to experienced idiots like us.
rarely, probably in the in the enforcing of stuff like that. But we have with people that specialize in these kinds of contracts and
Yeah. We colloquially call them diplomats. Yeah. I didn't realize it went quite that far up.
Yeah. It doesn't go all the way up, but there's a lot of human resources, so to say, involved in this. That it needs a bit of a higher up.
It makes
signing
sense.
off.
I mean, obviously, we are talking about, as you say, there are people involved, there are volunteers involved, surgeries and things that you can't trust it to people like us who go and cause revolutions in Santa's workshop.
Exactly.
Or
Yeah.
I can see. Yeah, they treat it in a similar kind of way that they would when you did the diplomats work with the mermaids and things.
Exactly. I mean, also they are very clever, so they're very likely to outlawyer you when you do any agreements. So I'm happy to leave it to the professional.
We need actual people who know what they're doing.
Yes.
We need people who really understand the small
yes.
print.
Exactly.
That makes sense. But
having said all that, do you have any idea where we could send people if they themselves want to eat some fox marbles?
Well, I'm going to say the doctor because there's certainly something wrong with you if you're trying to eat fox marbles. But you could make a quick, brief stop off at a wonderful, wonderful place where you can find a link to in the description and the show notes. It is called the Blink and You'll Miff It Discord, where you can go and find other people who would like to eat some fox marbles. And you can all plan on going to see the doctors together to work on that problem. But it's a place where you can all have a chat about shows, about the different episodes, talk about the creatures that you have enjoyed learning about, talk about the creatures you would like us to talk about later down the line, because between Chris and I, we have pretty much seen everything, or we're even usually sent on the jobs to find the new things that we can't explain.
And then we explain them.
Oh yeah, it means that we have the opportunity right here, right now, to talk about them and tell you about the world that you didn't really know actually existed. But while they're doing that, Chris, what else should they be doing?
Well, what you should be doing, what you should have done half an hour ago, is subscribing, liking, giving us 5 stars, 500 stars, all of the social media stuff.
Give us a thumb.
Give us a thumb. Hopefully in a digital way, but we're not picky. Scroll through our old episodes because we've been doing this for a while, and there's a lot of stuff in there, and you're bound to find something that interests you.
Certainly.
They're all evergreens. You can listen to every episode individually, except for a few in-jokes you might be missing. So give that a go and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. If you want to be lulled by slightly moving visuals, go to our YouTube channel to check it out there. But you've found this podcast, you're listening to it. I'm not gonna have to tell you how to find it, I suppose.
Although, feel free to just keep looking for it on every single one of your podcasting apps of choice and just listen to the episode again and again and again.
And again
it
and
all
again.
benefits us.
Yes, and also share it with everyone you know, everyone you don't know, everyone you would like to know. Everyone. Yes,
just keep sharing.
Keep sharing.
Every single time you interact with someone, share with them.
Be the virus you want to exist in
Exactly. When
the
you go
world.
get a coffee, share it with the barista.
Yes.
When you go to your boss to get shouted at because you were listening to a podcast rather than doing your work, share it with your boss.
Exactly.
When you are being arrested by the police for undisclosed crimes, share it with the arresting officer. They will thank you for it, and you might even get away with a slap on the wrist rather than being charged with anything.
Yes, and if you don't get away, then share it with the judge. And if you're sent to prison, then share it with all your inmates. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just keep sharing. Sharing is caring, and it shows that you are a rehabilitated person, because I'm thinking that right now we're really going to push on the criminals.
Well, you know, murderers love our podcast.
All right, then. And on that note, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. And I don't think there's anything else other to say than goodbye.
Goodbye.